Alright, we got this Deus 2 out here, 9-inch call version 2.00. We'll look at the fast and sensitive FT program on this machine. Okay. You all run your machines any way you want. Sharpshooter's just going to show you something he's seeing here. In a dig-out non-ferrous setting, smart money might be to run the notch on this machine 7 through 10. Okay, and I'm going to show you here. I'm going to take the notch out of this machine. Okay, now iron tit is off. See that in there? Got this. Now there's a nickel right there, about not quite 7 inches deep, real close. There's a small piece of iron in that SD case there, okay? I've got the reactivity on this machine 1.5, audio response is 5. And everything I show in this video here, I'm going to show silencer of 1. Okay? So now we're in full tones on this sensitive FT. You get to hear that nickel there. It's hitting that nickel. See that ID? That's what it gives every single time. How about a hover sweep? Even on a hover, 7. Okay? So we'll just stay in the sensitive FT program for now. I'm going down here to notch. And I'm going to notch 7 through 10. You see it there in that meter. Okay, now watch what happens here. See that meter? Look at that. Every time it pops a 70 in that window. Now, I'm not going to say this machine might not give some ID like that on some iron, okay? But on that scenario there, that's a known scenario, you know. I know what this is. We'll go to the fast program. And I will set it up. We'll just leave it in pitch tones. I'm going to take all the factory notch out of it for this demo for right now. Silencer at 1. And speed again at 1.5, audio response 5. Okay, let's see what we get here. We're getting the signal, but see that meter? See that? 7. Okay, so this machine is seeing that nickel, but it can't relay to the operator without any notch. We're going to put notch in this one. Again, I'm going to dial 7 through 10. That's what I've done there. Okay, let's see what we get now. So I'm getting some positive ID. You see that? Hover sweep. Now notice we don't get the ID like we get in, and I'll toggle back, sensitive FT. See it? Now it's the same silencer in the window. Sensitive FT may be a little different filter-wise, okay? But it's still, that's a 7 through 10 notch. Okay, now let's take the notch out of sensitive FT. And let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, there's no notch in sensitive FT. We're still in full tones. Let's listen to this. Again, you see that meter reading. So we can say this machine on iron sort of behaves like it does in modern trash. Meaning there's some targets in modern trash this machine sees, and if an operator looks at the window, they don't get a better indicator of what's under the coil versus running notch. Okay? We'll go back to the fast program here. and I'm going to lower the silencer on it to 0. Okay, now notice, when I lower the silencer to 0, we get ID that looks a lot like sensitive FT at 1. See that? Okay, now I'm going to raise the silencer back to 1 in the fast program. You see that? Okay, and I'm going to toggle back to sensitive FT, double check the silencer setting. It is at 1, okay? Okay, and let me put my notch back in it. Whoops. Okay, see that? So with equal silencer in the window, same notch, that nickel's giving higher ID in the sensitive FT program. Now I'm going to increase the silencer to 2 in the sensitive FT program. Now the ID is not popping in and the signal is degraded. I'm getting a little ID on some sweeps. Okay. Back to 1, sensitive FT with the notch, 7 through 10. You get to see that. Okay. Fast program. Silencer of 1 with the same notch, same speed setting, 1.5. Okay. We get a lower ID. But if I lower the silencer to 0 in fast, it starts behaving ID-wise like the sensitive FT. Okay, so that would suggest less filtering going on in the sensitive FT program. I'm going to turn the camera off and we're going to set sensitive program up and compare it to sensitive FT right fast and see what we see. Okay, now I've got sensitive FT in this outfit. Audio response 5. You see the silencers at 1. We're in full tones. I've got a notch of 7 through 10. Now this is the sensitive program. What happens? See that ID? It's lower on average. Behaves more like the fast program. Now I'm toggling straight to sensitive FT. Same notch, a 1 silencer, and the speed at 1.5. Okay, now let's see what we get. See that? Hear how clean that sounds? Okay, now I'm toggling to sensitive FT. Signal don't sound too bad, but notice the ID. Okay, so now we're going to go back to sensitive FT, and I'm going to intentionally dial the silencer to 2. Does it behave here like the silencer 1 setting in the fast in the sensitive program? Let's see. Doesn't seem like it, does it? I'm getting some high ID in there, even at silencer 2. Okay, what about silencer 3? Sensitive FT. You see that? Even at a silencer of 3, I'm getting some pretty strong numbers there. Okay, sensitive program. Silencer of 3. What happens? Notch is still 7 through 10. That seems to do all right. Sensitive program, silencer 2. Okay, now I'm going to take the silencer 2, taking the notch out. Okay, so you can see how it behaves. You see that ID? Now, I'm going to transition back to fast here. I've got the notch 7 through 10 pitch tones. Now, watch what happens here. So we get the ID, okay? But we also get our iron tone. Remember that. I don't have the entire iron range notched out, okay? So that's 7 through 10. And I'm going to take the notch out of the machine. Fast program. You just seen it with the notch 7 through 10 in it. See that? Okay. Now, I'll show you this iron here. See it there? And I'll stand here and sweep over this, and I'll just transition to sensitive FT. You can hear how clean that's hitting that two-way signal on that nickel, which is pretty close to 7 inches deep. You get to see the ID. So that notch 7 through 10 might be the smart money on this detector. Especially using pitch tones, because remember, you keep your iron volume alive when you do that. If you try to notch 0 all the way up, you lose your iron tone. And if you hear the signal and you were getting iron tone, coming in pretty quick, you would probably be suspecting. You'd be suspecting a masking situation, so you might decide to dig. Not trusting necessarily what that meter's saying, okay? Because, it's that ID on that nickel with that iron, it never was reading really 62. Like it does right here. See that? 61. I hope you enjoy.